各位同学，欢迎来到 SnowSensei。现在呢，我跟 CAPiTA 的这个 manager 呢叫 Tui 在这边。Hi Tui.
Hi.
Say hi to the Mandarin world.
Hello, Mandarin world. How are you?
Yeah. So here today we are with, what is this model? This looks awesome.
This model is awesome. So this is the CAPiTA Super DOA. This is the Defenders of Awesome, just beefed up on steroids. So this has all super high-end components in it. It has a 3D molded core, so it's super lightweight, super stiff. It has Thermo Polymer recycled bottles inserts in here, so it's super lightweight. And then we have on the base a carbon injected World Cup race base. So this is super fast with an aftermarket tune on it. So it beads water out to the side and is just a really fast base.
Wow, that looks really awesome. I'm really interested about something that you said about the recycled plastic in the insert.
Yes. Yeah, so Thermo Polymer is we take old plastic bottles, we break them down, recycle them, and then turn them into these rods that we mill out the core and drop them in place. So it's a lighter weight than wood, but it's also stronger than wood. So
and it's right here in the insert area?
Yeah, so you have two bars here underneath the foot. Wow. So right where your binding is, that when you go toe to heel, it's a much more immediate energy transfer.
So that's very interesting because a lot of brands would when they try to put lightweight materials, they will avoid the insert areas. But I guess CAPiTA has found out a way to make it strong enough to be right under the inserts. That's really cool.
Absolutely, yeah. So that material, when you actually break it down, melt it, and put it into a solid piece, it's actually much stronger than wood. So typically you'll have just a wood core underfoot. So this is actually a stronger material there that's lighter weight. And so, as we move forward into the future, we're gonna work on doing more maybe tip to tail full cores out of this Thermo Polymer recycled bottles. So, always trying to move forward, advance technology, and figure out how to make snowboards better.
Awesome, definitely looking forward to that. All right, let's move on to the next model.
Cool.
现在叔叔呢来看到这张板子非常的特别，而且上面写了很多的不知道是日文还是中文字，所以我们马上来问一下 Tui， 到底它的这个 CAPiTA 为什么它的板子看起来就是特别的好看？它后面的 story 到底是什么
？So the art director for CAPiTA Snowboarding is a gentleman named Ephraim Chui. He's a Japanese fellow who lives in Hong Kong, and he has been he's the creative director for the entire brand. So he does almost all of the graphics throughout the line with help from Corey Smith and Blue Montgomery. They work together collaboratively. But Ephraim's story is really cool because he's a completely self-taught graphic designer. He was friends with Blue Montgomery over 20 years ago, and he was working as a chef. And when Blue started the brand, he was like, hey, we need somebody to help us with these graphics. And Ephraim volunteered for the job basically and just started working through teaching himself every step of the way, and now we have graphics like this that we have these two interdimensional alien ladies that come down through a portal to Earth to seduce young men and suck out their brains, and that's how they feed. And then here we have this giant telescope with this all-seeing eye and employees of the Church of Quantum Interconnectedness that are peering out into the multiverse to defend Earth against these aliens.
That's like a whole story in this one graphic.
Yes, yeah. Every graphic in the line has a very in-depth story that when you actually read it or hear it, it's kind of a jaw dropper. It makes you go, whoa, that's really cool.
That's very interesting, and that explains how a lot of people, obviously we choose our snowboards through their functionality or whatever you want to do with a snowboard, but graphic is a big part of it. So
graphic is important. It's something that you can relate to. And interestingly, if you look back at the 20 years of CAPiTA's boards, those stories are pretty consistent and evolving. So, as somebody that's a fan of this board, the Outer Space Living, they're going to be a fan of it forever because it's going to maintain elements of this graphic and this theme that they can relate to because they like it.
That's very cool to hear about the story of the graphic designer. Cool. OK， 那现在我们就在很多人一定都有兴趣新的2021-2022的 Kazu Kokubo Pro. So what is up with this board? Every single year, it just looks awesome. This year, especially.
Yeah, this board's crazy. So with Kazu's board, obviously he's a Japanese superstar in the world of snowboarding, and also a very loving father and just an incredibly humble man. Kazu's an incredible guy. And so his graphic every year is influenced by his life. So with the brush marks here on the top sheet and the Japanese calligraphy on the base, Kazu kind of perceives his writing as the mountain is tapestry, and his snowboard and the way that he rides down the mountain is like the brush of a calligraphy brush. Wow. So he's drawing this artistic line down the mountain, and when you watch him snowboarding, it is a work of art. And this board is really cool. This is like an all-mountain kind of skateboard. This is like a freestyle board with a big mountain shape. So this has a camber from the tail all the way to the front insert pack, and then rocker in the nose with a broad shoulder. But it's a radial side cut. So it's got this directional shape for riding big mountain, but it rides like a twin tip snowboard. So it's very freestyle focused. And then you have a super high-end sintered carbon injected World Cup race base on this. So it's super, super fast. And this board is just a machine. And then we take the top sheet off, and we actually use a real wood. This is a real ash skin on the top sheet.
Yeah, I can see that.
So it gives it this really beautiful texture and depth, but it also makes the board a lot lighter. So super, super lightweight. This is one of my favorite snowboards in the line. If only I could ride like Kazu.
One thing interesting I've realized, because most of the Japanese brand that's made for Japanese riders are usually on the narrower side of things, but not Kazu's pro model, right?
So Kazu's board is for like a US like standard waist width. Right. It is a little on the narrow side, but it's not narrow by any means. Right. Yes. So yeah, this is more like kind of what we're finding actually is that wider boards are a more stable platform, and in this day and age with like the materials that we can put into snowboards and stuff, wide boards perform just as good as like a standard waist width. So it's not as important to make them as narrow. And so for Kazu, it's like, there's the taper in the tail that makes it want to sink, but that also brings the waist width in here. So to make it just a little bit on the wider side there underfoot, so it's not so narrow, it's a more stable platform for him. Like when you're, landing a switch backside 9 in an Alaskan line or something, you need something to land on. So,
which is one of my favorite trick that I've ever seen him do. I don't remember the name of the video, but a switchback 9 in the trees in powder in Japan landed perfect. That was like the moment where I thought Kazu is what we call the god.
That's right. Yep. So CAPiTA is 20 years old. This is the black snowboard of death, and this is the first snowboard that was ever designed and engineered for CAPiTA, and it's the only one that's been in the line for all 20 years. So this board is completely redesigned for this year, and we have this kind of crazy tonal matte gloss black on black finish here with the Angel of Death. The Death Machine, kind of a crazy robotic futuristic Terminator guy. And this board is incredible. So this is our most high performance all mountain snowboard. So it's a directional board with a progressive side cut, and it's flat in the tail, camber underfoot, and then rocker in the nose. And it has what we call death grip, which is an additional contact point directly beneath the feet. So it gives you way more power and precision in that turn. And then we, with the core, it's a brand new core that we've engineered. So it's our lightest weight core, but then we mill it out here from tail to insert pack and nose to insert pack. And we drop in forged carbon rods, which is a super strong material that we use like with our union bindings as well. And that stiffens up the board a ton laterally. So driving it forward, it's very powerful and stiff, but torsionally, it's still like nimble and it allows you to ride it easily. So this board is really incredible. And then we have these forged carbon packs underfoot. So when you're driving that binding toe to heel, it's just a ton of energy moving to the board.
Awesome.
And then we have a carbon infused World Cup race base on this board as well. And it has that same like stone ground structure aftermarket tune on it. So super, super fast.
Wow. That's kind of my kind of board. Holy moly. Right, it is so light. 超轻的, it's so light. Yeah, it's really interesting with the forged carbon technology nowadays.
Pretty cool. There's only a few people that are using it across multiple industries. We're the only ones that are using it in snowboarding. So we borrowed the technology from Union. Union Binding Company uses it in a wide range of their bindings, their carbon series. And so we started utilizing that in our snowboards. It was developed by Lamborghini, and they built an entire super race car out of it, which is super lightweight. Like you could just lift the body of the car up like this. So it's a much stronger material than carbon fiber, and it's much stiffer and lighter weight. So yeah, it's pretty cool that we can use it in an application in snowboarding that that benefits the rider.
Yeah, I remember when I received that the box of the forged carbon binding, and it came with a letter that's from Automobili Lamborghini. I was like, yes, one more step towards the Lamborghini. All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Siri. Yeah, it's been a pleasure.